I'm doing good. Today I'm going to be making a groovy, crafty DIY project. That's right, I'm going to be growing my own crystals. Crystals for crystal! I'm going to be using borax in this video, but I have thought that in the future I would like to try making some sugar crystals. You know, rock candy with the kids, that would be so cool. But for today, we're going to make borax crystals. So come along with me and I'll show you how I make them. Squee! Alright, so that first bit of footage that you've just seen was my attempt at a time lapse of you watching the crystals growing. It was one of my final attempts at a project, so there were some seashells in there as well as me trying to grow some crystals. Now I'm going to show you what you're going to need for this project. Now you could use glue if you're trying to do seed crystals. You could use a rock to grow your things on, or you could use pipe cleaners to grow the crystals on. And I've even tried wrapping a rock with a pipe cleaner. I'm trying all sorts of things here. You can even grow crystals on like coffee filters if you cut a shape out of it. And there's loads of different videos if you want to like check out YouTube for other people's borax crystal videos. You want to make a really saturated solution of borax, so I'm going to be using all of that borax that you just saw, which is 200 grams, and about 600 mils of tap water. And I'm going to use this bowl, and for my first try I used a double boiler method, but in the future I think I'll just microwave to heat the crystals, or I would boil my kettle. Now I'm using the glue in these power shells, and I'm just using up this old PVA glue before I open that new one I just showed you before. But any glue like this will work, and you just want to spread a thin layer of glue on the surface and then sprinkle the borax so that it will be like seeds to grow even bigger crystals on the surface. So I'm just going to go ahead and spread out the glue now and sprinkle my borax onto the glue. So now the power shells are ready, it's time to go ahead and make our borax solution. So I'm just using a double boiler method here. It's an old camping cooker and an old camping pot with some water, and then of course I've got my 600 mils of water in the bowl, and I'm just adding my borax. Now you can add a measured amount like I did, or you can just keep adding borax until it won't dissolve anymore. The more saturated your borax solution is, the bigger and more defined crystals you will grow. grow. And also time is another factor in trying to grow really big chunky crystals. So if you just leave your item in your solution for say a couple of 3 hours, you'll get fine little crystals, and then if you leave it for longer, like overnight, you'll get bigger crystals, and then if you soak it again, they'll grow even bigger. So that's how I ended up making some of my really cool ones, was it took a few days of like remelting my solution and then dipping them again over and over again to let it grow more and more. So I'm colouring this first solution, and I'm just using watercolours. I've got this lovely blue colour, and then I'm going to use a little bit of purple watercolour as well to try and create a really pretty colour for these crystals that sort of matches the colour that you already get in a power shell. And I got these big giant power shells from the op shop. I was going to use them to display things on my table, but ended up actually, when I did my first wholesale order, they went, a whole bunch of them, because I had a whole bunch of them, went with that wholesale order for them to use to display in their shop. So I don't think I'll get those back, but that's okay. I'm not too bothered about that. And what I'm doing here is I'm adding the liquid with a pipette, which I actually found like a soup ladle worked a lot better, or just carefully pouring. But the reason I'm doing it like this for this first time is I don't want any of those holes that naturally occur on the power shell to leak. I don't want any of that solution to leak out. So what I'd done is I'd gone along and put glue in all the holes, and then I'd also gone along and put blue tack on the underside. So here they are filled up with the solution, and I will leave them overnight to grow crystals on them, and I'm really excited about how they turn out. I hope they look good. So with the rest of the solution here, I'm just going to try a few beach stones. I've just got some little beach stones here I'm going to try and grow crystals on, and also I'm going to try and grow some on these pipe cleaners. So I've got one that's going to make a really big geode, and one that'll make a little one, and one that's a rock with a bit of the pipe cleaner wrapped around the rock. It's definitely like growing crystal.
Yes. Put it back in.
I can see the crystals is growing all over the pink one.
Ooh. It looks like a cave.
The kids were impressed. So here is what it looks like after it's been sitting for the first overnight period, and I want these to grow even more. I'm not really that happy with them just yet, but I'm going to give you a close-up of what they look like. So this is what they look like after they've sort of sat for 24-hour period, and you can see crystals are forming, but you can still really clearly see the pipe cleaner underneath, and what I'm hoping for is that the crystals will grow enough to kind of basically hide the fact that there's a pipe cleaner underneath. I really like how the silver pipe cleaner came out. That one looks the most like it's hidden the pipe cleaner and you can't really see it. That big one, I didn't fully submerge it. It couldn't go, it was too big and it didn't go all the way down into the liquid. So crystals only formed on one half of it, but I'm going to try again, and I'm going to try submerging it for even deeper and even longer to try and get really big chunky crystals on it. I'm actually pretty impressed with how they turned out. I didn't expect them to grow so quickly and look like that. So here we are after another sort of, I think maybe even 2 more days, and you can see it's a different solution. This one I made into a purple colour. So the crystals have wound up looking almost a little bit like an amethyst, and I'm pretty excited about that. Now this pipe cleaner that I've attached to the end of it, the pink one, I don't think that's the way to go. So learn from my mistakes. I think a little piece of cotton, like if you have a sewing kit and you've got some cotton, a little thin piece of thread, or even like some fishing line, some nylon fishing line would work better, because then you don't have that obvious kind of nub at the end of the crystal there. I ended up using a little bit of nail polish to cover mine and try and make it sparkle, but this is how it looks and I really love it. I think my favorite shape is this cave shape, and it's really easy to make. You just take a single pipe cleaner and form it into a little sort of a cave, and then it grows the best crystals. So I'm now going to show you a whole bunch of different ones that I've made, because I just kept on going until I used up all my borax. I ended up going and buying a whole big container of borax because this is so much fun. And the big container I bought, which was 1 kg of borax, only cost me $10. I think it was $10.50 New Zealand. So really, really cheap and so much fun. And you don't need, much to make this project. You just need that borax and some pipe cleaners and some time, really, and patience and a little bit of watercolour if you want to paint them up. So that one had no colour. This one had a little bit of faint pink, and this one I grew from a seed crystal, so there's no pipe cleaner inside that one. And it took a very long time. It started off with a little crystal, and then I redipped it and it grew bigger and bigger and bigger. These are the beach stones that you saw me put in, and the crystals were so delicate on them, they like sort of knocked off and bashed off when I handled them. So I've coated it and completely in nail polish that one, and this one I've only put nail polish on the back, so you can see the difference of what the crystals look like. And again, this is only after one night of growth. They're just little tiny crystals, whereas these other ones are after like 2 or 3 days, and I kept growing them and getting them bigger. And Big B wanted to make some finger and hand soaps so we did that as well. So here we've got some still photos of all the different borax crystals that we made. These are the ones on the beach stones, and this is the one that was made of the pipe cleaner, and I really, really love how that one came out. This is the one that has the beach stone with the pipe cleaner wrapped around it, and it does look cool, but it's still pretty obvious that it's not natural, and I was trying to go for something that looks natural, like a real crystal. Here we have some hanging on cotton, and the cotton is so much easier to remove and leaves a much cleaner crystal at the end, but it also grows all these tiny little crystals up it, which look really cool. And here's a whole handful of them, and here's some more pictures. So now I'm showing you the pictures of, this is the PowerShell after the first night growth, this is after a second layer of growth, and this is how they look after they've had about 6 layers of growth. So I just kept on filling them up and growing more and more and more. And the crystals never got quite as big as I wanted inside the PowerShells, but they look really pretty, and they're actually quite heavy now as well. So I really love how they turned out, and all the different colours. There's some pink and some purple and some blue, because I made a whole bunch of different coloured solutions. So I also made a crystal star out of pipe cleaners, and I'm just showing you that. This is the big geode from the beginning, the one that I couldn't quite submerge at first, and that's the star. I really, really love how they turned out. They look super cute, and if you want them to last for a really long time, especially if they're going to be handled a lot, I recommend that you paint them with a clear nail polish or spray them with a clear coat, just to give them that little bit of protection, and then the little crystals won't sort of knock off when you're handling them. But I just think it's a super fun project, and for the kids to get involved as well. You should definitely give it a go if you get a chance during the school holidays or something. And even if you don't have kids and you just feel like a fun project to keep yourself busy, you should give it a go. Well, I hope that you did enjoy watching me make these borax crystals, and if you did, feel free to hit that subscribe button. Become a member of the family and feel the love.